Good evening, all, and welcome to the Tactical Devils. I'm your host, Jarvis, and with me tonight I have Stu Wally. As usual, tonight we're going to have a cracking show, and we will talk about left backs at Man United. Will it be Lewis-Skelly or will it be Lewis Hall? Because we saw today some links to Lewis-Skelly, and Man United are turning their transfer interests in Lewis-Skelly at Arsenal. The youngsters, the 19-year-old, I think we're hearing about a price about £50 million. His valuation is 40. He has a long contract. I think it's until 2031, if I'm not wrong. So it will be a tough deal to do, but Arsenal needs money. They want to do the we need junior deal. So we will see how that plays out. Also, we saw this weekend that a guy we have been talking about a lot on this channel, Mamadou Sangaré, is going to Brentford for a new transfer record for Brentford. And it makes me wonder, do Brentford now needs money? And maybe we are heading towards the Italian, the Brazilian striker. So we will talk a little bit about that. But most of the show tonight will be about the Man United and the game yesterday. There is so much to talk about. The Atletico Madrid game, the 4-2-4 press, Shay, Lacy in the 10, Lenny Yoro, André, Santos, so many great performances last night. And Mason Mount, let's not forget about Mason Mount. What to do with the fourth midfielder? Will it be Mason Mount who will be the backup? Guys, Stu and I will be back after the short intro, but please do us a favor, smash the like, subscribe if this is your first time on the Tactical Devils, and leave a comment, and we will be back in 2 seconds. See you in a bit. Yes. Welcome to the Tactical Devils. I'm your host, Jarvis. This is Stu. Let's get going with the show. Before Stu gets to speak, I want to say hi to the people in the chat. We have John O'Connell coming in and asking for any Kone news. There is no news on Man Kone. The only news we know, Hjalmar Amin sums it up here. Only Kone news I have seen is that United are not really interested, and United are trying to get him on a very cheap. Very little news about him. Yes, that's 100% through Hjalmar Amin. We have Wayne Jamie. What's up? Not Jamie Wayne. Okay, no. We have Tom Porter, and Tom Porter has become a new YouTube member. Thank you so much, Tom Porter. Thank you for supporting the Tactical Devils. And guys, if you want to become a member, you can become a member for as little as £1.99 a month, supporting the channel as best as you can. We have CJ Ramos 7 coming in. Salute Jarvis, salute Stu. Big up everyone. Big up Ramos. Good to see you. Good to see you. Bilal, big up gentlemen. 15 likes already, guys. Smash those likes. We have Danny B, Irish Pit Terrier. We have Mr. Potus 5,000 coming in and say big up Jarvis and everyone in the chat. It's been a great weekend. Yes, it's been a great weekend. Thank you so much coming in from Vancouver, Canada. Johnny Kermode is in the house. Big up Johnny K, our best ambassador, the Tactical Devils ambassador, Johnny Kermode. Thank you so much for the other day. And Is It Just Me is in the building. So many guys. We have the Vootinator, one of our moderators, saying 20 likes. Guys, get your likes in. And Patrick Morrison coming in and say, I just found your channel. I like the balanced way you talk about football. So I'm here for sure. Big up. Thank you, Patrick. I'm so glad that you are on board of the Tactical Devils train. We have King Carrick also. Let me just scroll down to the very end. And Johnny Kermode say, you're welcome, guys. So I've been speaking non-stop now for almost 5 minutes. So it's time to let Stu do a little bit of his talking. So good to see you, Stu. How's your weekend been? And did you like the game yesterday?
I had a really good weekend. Good evening, my old mate. Good evening to the Devilish Tacticos, and also good evening to everybody that's tuned in for the first time tonight. It's great to have you. You're very welcome. and you will love this community if it's your first time watching. So get involved with us. Did I like the game? Absolutely. Have I liked pre-season? I have. Yeah. Pre-season, it doesn't really matter if you win or lose. It's all about rhythm. It's all about getting rhythm in your legs, minutes on the pitch, rhythm with your teammates, trying to forget what you shouldn't have forgotten about football, but people do on a regular basis. I do it myself. I forget. Gee, I should never forgot that, but I have. I think it's been brilliant. 20 smash those likes, guys, please. I think it's been a very, very solid pre-season. People will argue against that. There are certain channels that are already arguing against it, saying it's very underwhelming. But we've had some very good performances by some good players. We've had some surprising performances by players we hoped would deliver. And I think we've still got 5 or 6 players to still come back. There's been one nice element for me, which I've been banging on about for a few weeks, which we'll talk about during the game analysis. But more importantly than anything, it's good to see a revitalized Mason Mount. And I put this on the down low.
Yes.
But there is a element of what Mount is produced in pre-season. And people will say, well, it's only pre-season. Doesn't matter.
He is the preseason Pirlo, to say it like that. He's the best. He's the closest thing to Andrés Pereira when it comes to preseason games. He's been brilliant under Den Haag. He's been brilliant under Amorim. He's been brilliant now under Carrick. That's how the manager starts loving him until he gets injured. So let's just.
Well, there's something a bit different about it. And I would agree with you on that. But there's something a little bit different about the way that he's playing. And the thing is, nobody will have noticed. And it took me a few ways of watching him because we haven't seen him enough. But he's playing, not with a maturity, but he's playing with a real balance when he gets the ball balanced at this point in time. So he's not leaning towards the left. He's not leaning towards the right. He's very balanced on the ball. He's not upright. He's not slouched. He's kind of a little bit in the middle. He's not running as powerfully as he's done in other pre-seasons. He's moving into position at the right time by using his eyes and his ears. I've seen a different Mason Mount. Now I am going to, Jarvis. I am going to reserve judgment, but I do think it's worth mentioning that there is a player in there somewhere that we knew we were buying from Chelsea, and he just hasn't produced. So I was very vocal about removing him, very vocal about taking the number 7 off him.
You have been so, yeah.
And I've made no, but I've seen something, Jarvis, just a little bit that has opened my eyes. Not too much, but it's opened my eyes to the potential that there could be use for him throughout the season. Now, I'm not going to go too far, and I've looked at the way that he's played, and I've looked at certain individuals that we've been linked with to the way that he's played. Certainly against Atletico Madrid, which by no means are any slight to the team. No means. I mean,
no. But they struggle with the same thing as we do. You know, they have a lot of players. You know, who's been in the World Cup, and
Simeone was fuming that they lost. Shouldn't have lost. But he demonstrated not only a willingness, but to actually get into the positions by thought, even before the ball entered that zone. I'm not seeing that from Mason Mount at all. And I'm not going to say a player that I think he has demonstrated, because people just won't believe it. So let's have a conversation about Mason Mount after game 6, if he plays, and then we'll see where we are with him. But I've seen something different that I wasn't expecting, and it's really opened my eyes. And that's what I like about football, Jarvis. I like the fact that we can still be surprised, even at our tender ages. And I've been surprised.
Yeah, Stu. I will have to take the you are the good cop right now, and I will have to take the bad cop when it comes to Mason Mount, because I have to be honest. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I feel the vibe in the fan bases right now is Mason Mount can come good, but you know, burned once, burned twice, fooled once, fooled twice. All of this, and we know his history. He came in was it Ten Hag's first season? It's been a while, and he hasn't played consistent since then. He's been on and off, injured. Every time he comes back, he plays like 3 to 5 games, injured again.
Correct.
And it's never been about his abilities as a player. It's never been about his abilities. It's always about his injuries. And his ability to stay fit is not optimal, to say it like that. And I see Mason Mount getting injured again when the season starts, because it's one thing playing friendlies, playing summer tournaments, you know, winning the Snapdragon Trophy. Wow, you know, it's the best we have ever seen. It's another thing playing the Premier League against Manchester Cities, against the Arsenals, against Liverpools, against the Brentfords and Bournemouth and Brightons and Evertons and all of them. You will see tackles flying, smashing in, and there you have it. The guy will get injured again. You know, he doesn't have the body anymore. And that's, for me, you know, I hope that people see Mason Mount and feel the same as the fan base do right now. Maybe he can come good, and maybe we can just sell him. Bye-bye. You know, because I don't want him in this team. I don't think it's good enough just because of his injuries.
But
availability is the best ability.
Yeah, there's an element that's been attached, a layer that's been attached to pre-season that we've not seen in the Premier League, and that is somebody who can control our balance, who can control the game of football, and we have that in our young Brazilian 22-year-old, Mr. Santos. And what he does, instead of us running around like headless chickens, like we've been doing in the past, because we haven't had a dictator on the pitch, we haven't had somebody who can slow the ball down, slow the game down, quicken the game up, then there are certain players that are just running around and the ball's bypassing them. And Mr. Mount, unfortunately, was one of them. Since Santos has been in, he's allowed the game to slow and quicken. And once the game, the pace slows down, then you should be able to regulate your own body better than what it is if you're playing high intensity for 90 minutes. Because we can't do that. We don't have the squad, haven't had the squad depth to do that in previous seasons. And when you look at certain clubs, and we always think, well, hold on, you're in the last quarter of the season, and you're still running 14 kilometers at 20 miles an hour. How the fuck are you doing that? You're obviously on the fucking... We seem to forget that they've got players that can slow the tempo right down to a crawling pace, allow players to get their breath, allow players to rejuvenate themselves during the game. And I think we've got 2 players that can do that. Tielemans is one, and Santos, by all accounts, appears to be the other. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves with Santos either. We haven't seen him play too much, but when we have seen him play, he's impressed us at Chelsea. Chelsea fans are still having a pop at them at the minute. What fucking hell's going on? But I think most people will look at Santos and look at what he's delivered so far in a calm way, but a very clinical way. So he's very calm on the pitch, but he's very clinical in what he does. His positional play is excellent. His line passing is superb. I mean, Jarvis, you should be drooling on that. Because it's
100%, and he wins 100% of his duels. He won all of his duels.
This is where I'm going to add the link of Mr. Mount here. Only a tenuous link, but I'm going to add it. So the ball into Mount. Mount will take the ball, which we've never seen him take it with his back to goal and manoeuvre himself around at not a quick pace, but a nice pace. Move the ball out wide to, I think it was Lacy, and then we're on the attack. That's one quick, nice little ball in, one bit of control, little bit of movement, pop the ball off. So What I've seen is, particularly against Atleti, and we are the 3-time Snapdragon Cup champions now. I'm sure not anyone can say that, Joe.
We win that tournament every year. I can't imagine how. How is it possible?
It was
back to back.
It was a really good game for us. Atleti were very strong in areas. Oblak played, don't forget, so they got decent keeper. I know Oblak didn't play in the second half.
Oblak is a great goalkeeper. You know, I like him. He's one of my favorites. Yes, 100%.
So, look, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but I think it's worth the conversation, or was worth the conversation, to say, look, hold on, let's just keep a close eye on the development this year of the way that we play. There's been some other notable players that performed very, very well so far. Lenny Yoro, hats off to him. I think he's done very, very well. I know we have no choice but to play right back.
Stu, we will have the time to break down the full game in 5 to 10 minutes time. Before we go to that, I just want to cover the latest transfer. I know a lot of you guys tune in for just the updates. You want to know what's going on in the world of Man United, and then we will have the time to talk about the game. So sorry for interrupting you. I think you are on a good talking point now with the game. Yal Malmin also comes in with a comment saying, going to defend Mount, and literally played 25 out of 40 games for United last season. He was also benched, not getting minutes for 5 minutes where he could play. He was not gone as much last season. So yes, that's actually a good point. He is improving. He's improving his injuries, but I'm not sure. Even maybe they are just trying to manage his minutes as best as they can to keep him injury free.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably right. Yeah, I think the first half of the season you probably won't see him as much. I think you'll see him come on. He scored a couple of goals, didn't he, back end of last season for us? And he's looked lively this season. Yeah. It's up to him. Ultimately, it's up to Mount, isn't it, to stay fit and make himself indispensable. And that's all you want from a footballer, pal, really.
That's the thing. And the one thing with Mount that strikes me every time is his managers, his coaches seems to love him as a player. I think he's one of those type of, you tell him what to do and he's very loyal to his managers and how he plays football. It's very how can I say it? It's very academy-esque, the way he plays. Yeah. It's very tedious. It's very good on the ball. Everything, every turn, every touch, everything is very trained. It's like watching Phil Foden or all of these academy type of players with the perfect technique in every situation. And I don't know why every manager seems to love him, but for me, yeah, there is a player in there, but I can't trust him. That's just my final say on Mason Mount. But let's continue the debate. Mythical Rider P2 comes in and say, "Hi Jarvis, I'm new here. Is United done for the window? Seems like it due to Berrada's statement previously when he mentioned they won't overpay or go for midfielders just for the sake of signing." Mythical Rider, thank you for the comment. I don't think Man United are done quite yet. I think we still have at least a left back and maybe a backup striker to sign. The revelation of Mason Mount could end in us not signing the third midfielder yet. Maybe we are waiting for the right player to come in. And we know the current setup with Ineos are willing to wait. We didn't sign Baleba last summer. We have been waiting and waiting and waiting on a lot of these transfer targets. We are not in any rush. We will not do anything in panic mode. So for me, you might be right. We might be done with the midfield signing, but I still feel we are going for a left back and possibly a backup striker or forward option who can play as a striker if needed. What's your thoughts, Stu, on this comment?
Yeah, first of all, welcome, Mythical. Thank you for joining us. Hope you like the show and what me and Jarvis are about. Look, I'm with you. We cannot not sign more players. 2 players is not acceptable. Plus the goalkeeper and also the left winger from Tottenham. We do need more. We need strength in depth, and I think that we're waiting for that one player, whoever that player is. I think Cass was right the other night. Doing a Baleba deal is very simple. Doing a Kone deal is very simple. Everything's a simple deal apart from Tchouaméni. And so that would suggest to me that we are looking at Tchouaméni, and he would be the prize that we want. I'm not so sure about Lewis Hall, to be honest.
Sorry, I was just going to say, as far as I understand, the Tchouaméni thing has gone cold.
Yeah, I think it probably will do. I think he's got to report back to Madrid, and Madrid have got to make a decision based on the conversation they'll need to have. He's not there yet. I mean, Jude Bellingham's in the UK at Birmingham watching and chucking in cricket balls and stuff of that nature, so he's not gone back yet. So I think when he goes back, I think his position will become slightly more clearer. As for everything else, I think they're easy deals. They really are. Baleba's probably the easiest of them all to get across the line, because
Baleba deal is he doesn't even have an agent, as far as I understand.
No, that's right. I mean, that's a good thing for him.
Yeah.
He gets to keep more of his money, and we're not paying out stupid agents fees. But these are easy deals, aren't they? The Sangaré deal was very piss easy for Brentford to do from Lambs. That was a 48-hour deal by all accounts. So there are deals out there you can do. We did Tielemans very quickly, and we did Santos relatively quickly. So if we want these players, we can do it. So that just suggests to me that we are potentially waiting for Tchouaméni. With regards to a left back, I think we do need a left back, and I think we do need Chisroptov, and I think we do need a backup striker, whoever that may be. I don't think we go for Thiago. I think it'd be too much money out of Brentford. So I'm not really sure we would look at that. Our best option would be what Chelsea have gone and done. That is the smartest, probably, piece of business.
Chelsea have had a massive window. Yeah,
that getting Welbeck in, probably cheap. As a backup striker, is going to get you 8 to 10 goals, no problem next season. Is the best piece of business because they've done it smartly, and we need to be that smart. In the transfer window, when we don't appear to be at this point in time. But look, we've still got 3 weeks till the first game of the season. 22nd, we're away at Hull. We should win that game. There'll be no excuse if we don't win that game.
No.
And I think we should have players. I would imagine Carrick, he has been told we are getting new players, and we'll want them in the next 2 weeks anyway. Next week, or part of this week, the rest of the lads return, don't they? Or most of them return back from the World Cup. So I think ultimately we're not done.
No, I mean, neither do I. I don't think we're done, guys. On the latest, thank you, Blank. We have a super chat coming in from Blank saying, "Get Hall plus Sanderberg, Berge plus starter, whatever needed." So you're basically saying we have to sign Lewis Hall. The biggest problem with Lewis Hall is Newcastle don't want to sell him. They're not looking at offloading. I don't know if they're willing to sell him, but everything that comes out, there was a report coming out from Andy Mitten today. Let's just bring it up so we can talk a little bit about the latest transfer news, saying that Manchester United wouldn't be interested in Lewis Hall if he didn't want to join. So that's clear. Lewis Hall wants United. Out of all the reports we've seen from Andy Mitten, Ornstein, all of these guys saying that Lewis Hall, Man United wouldn't approach a deal if the players didn't want to come. But the thing is, the club are looking to recruit him, but Newcastle will demand a high fee. So are we willing to pay for the right player? I think they're looking at something north of 65 millions, and I think that's a tough pill to swallow, especially when you look at Man United, look at Ineos, look at Sir Jim Ratcliffe, look at Berada, look at how they spend money. You know, it's always about value for money. So again, I don't see us, overpaying, and still Newcastle is demanding a high fee. It could end up actually with us just waiting, walking away, saying, as we did with the Matheus Fernandes deal, as we did with the Tonali deal, as we did with the Elliot Anderson deal, walk away. So I don't know, Stu. Do you think we should walk away if we are talking about north of 65 million for a fullback?
It's a tricky one, that one, because I think Lewis Hall offers a lot of versatility in his attack and his defending. He's not the best defender, defensive fullback in the Premier League, but he's very quick and he's very direct and he's a decent tackler. I think ultimately he would be brilliant signing for us, and unfortunately, with us dealing with Newcastle and the way that Newcastle are offloading players at the moment, it's going to be mightily difficult not to prize him out of Newcastle, but to prize him away from Newcastle, because he's got 2 or 3 years left on his contract, which means we've got to bid. But there doesn't appear to be any kind of release clause that we can do it. But if you buy him, are you buying him for 10 years? That's the thing. Are you going to do what we did with Luke Shaw? We paid 30 million for Luke Shaw, and we bought him for 10 years. Yeah, we know we've had issues with Luke Shaw in terms of injuries and so forth. So if you are going to spend £70 million, two things will happen. A, you're buying him to future-proof. And B, the chances are you're relying on somebody as a fourth midfielder within the club, because I don't think you can spend another 80 or 90 million pounds on a midfielder, because that will leave you zero money for an attacker that we need. So it kind of depends what the club wants. It kind of depends what the fans want. Do we want this extra midfielder, or do we want Lewis Hall, a striker? Or do we want a striker and the extra midfielder? That's really what we're asking ourselves. Now, things have turned out in this, in this pre-season, where we've got certain players who are occupying certain areas, and that's absolutely brilliant for us. And we've got youth that can come in and potentially occupy a left-back position if we have injuries. But again, you are looking at a superb footballer. He came out of Chelsea, went up to Newcastle.
Well, he haven't set the Premier League on fire for the last 3 seasons. You know, we had one good season for Newcastle, as far as I understand.
Yeah, but you got to look at it. You see, people say that a lot, but you're not looking at the bigger picture there, and that is the team he's playing with. You've got to look at the players and the team that they're playing with. Now, this year, the reason he had a good size, real good season, is simple. Guimaraes, Tonali, and Joe Linton. There is protection, absolutely brilliant. We've spoken about them three being the perfect max all season, haven't we? We've spoken about it all the time, and it helps you as an individual when you're playing against with great players. Prior to that, Tonali wasn't playing because he was banned for 10 months, wasn't he? He didn't. He couldn't play. So there were
because of his gambling issues.
They had long staff in there, didn't they? So there were. So for me, and the goalkeeper last year, season before as well, they were up and down, if you remember, with Dubravka and Pope. They were changing in between. So they've been a bit more settled this season. I think he's been one of their high performers, Lewis Hall. But we say this about a lot of footballers all the time. They're not playing in the right environment. And it can hamper you. It can hamper your development. And we've always said that certain players have come to Manchester United at the wrong time in their career, completely the wrong time in their career. Josh Zirkzee is a great example. 10 years too late. Juan Sebastian Veron just come at the wrong time, to us. We got Cavani the wrong time. We've got a lot of players that are coming to our team at the wrong time, and they've
Casemiro even.
Just coming at the wrong time. So for me, if Lewis Hall was available, would I take him?
And it's not about him being available. It's about him wanting to come to Man United. Newcastle not willing to sell only if the price is good enough, because they know they will have to replace him. They need another left back. And, I think this is the current market. And Newcastle, they have sold so many players. They don't want to be totally ripped off, and sitting with going into the league only 4 weeks left until the season starts. 3 weeks left until the season starts.
Yeah, well, in 3 weeks.
And they have a new manager. They have a thin squad. We even heard rumors that Joe Linton wants to go to Saudi right now, and they are dropping like flies. There's no one left. And I think this is where if you were on Newcastle's board of directors, and you were about to make a decision on Lewis Hall, what would you say?
I'd keep him.
Yeah. I think this is where they are.
Yeah, he wouldn't be going anywhere.
And you would keep him, but you would say, I will keep him, but if they come in with an insane bid, I will be willing to listen, because then I know I would have leeway to get in a replacement.
So I guess I'm coming down on the fact that I love Lewis Hall at the club. I think he's absolutely brilliant. But then again, I'll take Bueno out of Wolves, no problem, at 50 million or 40 million, because I think he offers something very, very similar at a cheaper cost. I take Leif Davis out of Ipswich, offers something similar at a cheaper cost. But I don't think we should compromise our midfield structure unless the board had decided, as you say, that Mason Mount is going to be good enough for us this season, and we don't need that extra player. So it's either Hall or a midfielder for me, and the striker. So the striker, 100%.
But are we at that place right now? We're Man United. We have signed 2 midfielders, yes, but we have spent like 80 million. We spent 200 million something last season on Amorim. Is this how we are, supporting and helping Carrick into this, his first regular season as a head coach? Are we just leaving him to fail at the moment? You have to choose between the third midfielder or a left back. We should have had both. This is Man United. And then, also it makes me wonder now, you see Lewis-Skelly coming in. He's a midfielder, he's a left back. Could he be like the bargain option to do both?
He could be, but to be fair, he's an excellent player. And if you saw Arsenal's final few games, he was the one in midfield that got them over the line. He's an excellent midfielder. He's an excellent footballer. He really is. And he really is a good footballer, Lewis-Skelly.
He is. But he's still young. He's 19.
Exactly. And that's what people won't like. He's not a first team player. He's not this, he's not that. Well, he would be a brilliant addition to our team. Absolutely brilliant addition to it. He's got all the attributes to go on and be an absolute top player. He really has. And I can't imagine that Arsenal would even consider letting him go, really. I know you were talking about, well, they want the money for Vinicius. Well, go ahead. If you're that stupid, you're going to go and sell to get Vinicius in. He was going to completely disrupt your dressing room, by the way. And everything that you stand for, then go ahead. But I think it's an exceptional piece of business if we could get hold of Lewis-Skelly. I really do. But that might allow you, Jarvis.
Yeah, but is he as good as Lewis Hall?
But you're talking versatility. You're buying a midfielder and a left back. You're not just buying a left back. Lewis Hall's okay.
So we're buying him for the versatility part then, the bargain.
Yeah, I think you need versatility though. There's a player that we're going to talk about later on in the show. I think you need that versatility. I'm talking about a lot about versatility and how players are pigeonholed into a single position. But yet, when you play in a single position, then you do yourself more harm as a footballer than good. Because if you lose your place because you only can play centre half, you are not going to get back in. So you got to move. So your career then gets dragged out from club to club to club. What if you can play right back, centre half? What if you can play left back, centre midfield? You become a more valuable asset to the club. And those are the types of players. Nico O'Reilly is a great example at Man City. So is Nunes, great example. When they got him from Wolves, he was a forward attacking midfielder. Now he's a right. Whether people like that or not, Szoboszlai, right back as well as midfielder. We know he's a brilliant midfielder, but he was an excellent right back. There's a lot of players out there that don't necessarily get the credit they deserve for what they're able to achieve on the football pitch because of their age or...
All I want...
Is that me? Is that me, dude?
No, my phone is going on.
Because they can't achieve, because they're pitching themselves into... And I'll tell you who's another one. Do you remember Axel Tuanzebe?
Yeah.
I said to you, put him at right back. He'll be a great right back. Where's he playing at the moment? Right back. Because, you can change in a game. You can make yourself versatile. You should become. It's like I've always said about using both feet.
Save that for the Lenny Euro debate, because that will be interesting. I know what you're talking about and where you are heading. Guys, we have a super chat coming in from Blank saying if money is tight, prioritize Sander Berge ASAP.
But Jarvis, that's a deal.
Preaching to the choir, Blank, and I just want to finish my train of thoughts when it comes to Sander Berge. If he's the guy we want, we would have signed him, I would say, weeks ago. But it doesn't look like we are in for him. Then that's my biggest problem. He fits the profile. He's the perfect signing. I think he's Premier League proven. He is the one. But we're not going for him. So for me, I don't think Man United are actually interested. I think his plan DEF or something. Yeah. Stu, you were saying.
No, I agree. I think if you want Sander Berge, you can do that deal like that. Fulham want Sander Berge. 50 million, okay? Yeah. Thanks. Next, Sander. Yeah, get yourself up.
Get it done. 24 hours.
24 hours. Piece of piss.
Yeah.
Because he would go, fucking hell, United. Yes. That's all I'm interested in. Yes. I want that deal. Yes. That's all I care. Yes. And that's how it should be. So I'm just in that situation where, and that period where we seem to be going down a bit of a blind alley at the moment. We don't have the peripheral vision to go with what we want. I think Sander Berge comes in. I think he's absolutely brilliant for us. You get him. Then you could probably buy Jarvis Lewis Hall.
We must have at least 100 million left without sales.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah,
I would think so.
I said before the window started, I speculated. I said we had about 180 millions.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, and we spent 80, so we have 100 millions left. 65 on
what we bought in.
It's not enough. It's not enough. 65 on Lewis Hall. 35, 40 on Sander Berge.
Don't forget, we bought in 40 million off Erasmus, haven't we? And we bought in 10 off of Casemiro's off the salary. What do you call it? It's off the salary. Sancho, he's off the wage bill. So there's a lot come off the wage bill as well. We've got a lot of money. I think we've got the money out there to do it. I do. I really do. But we can't be in for Sander Berge, Jarvis, because we would have done it by now. Why would you wait?
Yeah, that's the thing. Why would we wait? I think that's a good question. I just want to bring up this comment. I think it's really good. It's from Mr. Potus 5000. Where is it? Sorry, I lost it. Where is it? Yeah. I think this is the best comment I've seen so far. Is say, what if Hall pulls off an Isaac and stops training, etc.? Would you still take him? So actually, as I've been saying now, we are just waiting for Lewis Hall to protest, to force the move. I think because of all of this Andy Mitten report saying that we want him, he wants us. Newcastle is the stoppage block. I think we need him to push for the move, like really push for the move.
But if you do that, they'll just sit on it like they did with Isak until the final day of the transfer window. So which means he won't have played any football. He would have hardly trained. He won't be. So it means, so if he comes in the 1st of September, we don't see him properly until mid to late October. We won't see him because he won't have, if he goes on strike, which Isak did. And I liked Isak, by the way. I said we should have been in for him. They did it last few days of the window, and he got injured pretty much straight away because he hadn't done any training. He hadn't had any match play, and he was a mess for Liverpool the whole season, complete mess. And when you look at what he performed for 2 years, 3 years, or however it was, Jarvis at Newcastle, he performed at the highest level. We all know that because we all saw it. And nobody can say that he didn't, because he did. He forces that move to Liverpool, forces it to the inch of its life. He had the worst season ever. Got injured. Okay. I know
because you can't train. You need to train.
Yeah, you've got
stay
to
fit.
Anyone could get injured. I know that. But you've got to train. You've got to be training and playing matches. So I don't want that. I'd rather get him in before that. But we're not going to see him, I don't think. If he does that, Jarvis, till mid-October at the earliest.
You make a lot of good points too, but Simon says surely Newcastle would focus on getting a new manager first before buying players. As far as I understand, I think they have the next manager lined up, and I can't remember what's his name when it comes to.
I can't remember the guy's name, but he's coming from the Middle East. He's German, isn't
he? They have reached a verbal agreement with Matthias Yasil or something. Yeah, this was out. I would say 3 or 4 days ago. So I think this is where they are heading. He's a German manager. He's been coaching. Was it Red Bull Salzburg? And he's Gegenpress, Ralf Ragnick, Jurgen Klopp type of manager.
Yeah, who the hell Al Hilal is, I don't know. But
yeah, Al Hilal. So yeah, I think they have that settled. But for me, Lewis Hall is I think he needs to force a move for us to get him this window. That's just my thoughts on this situation.
I agree. I don't think he will, but I agree.
Yeah,
I just don't see it. Unless he negotiates his way out of the contract.
I don't know. Yeah, but again, we are so weak in this window. We always we don't want to pay. It's too much. I just want value. We're waiting and waiting. As we said, there's 3 weeks left. We have signed 2 players. Okay, it's 2 midfielders. We've seen in the friendlies that Man United are actually doing quite well in the friendlies. Our squad depth looks okay. The youngsters that's coming into the team are okay. But I feel that we are waiting for Sir Jim Ratcliffe, because I think he has one thought in mind, and that is to get us profitable again. And he don't want to overspend. He have no intentions of spending the money we already have in the bank. He wants to keep them for as long as possible. That's just my thoughts on Sir Jim. And it's not how you operate a football club, to make money and try to stay profitable. No one makes money. No one makes money in this line of business. But Sir Jim Ratcliffe seems to believe that this is where we are heading. And I think we are falling behind by these tactics in the long run. We might pick up gems. We might pick up the André Santos now and then. But in the long run, quality is what wins you games. We can... Yeah.
It does. A little bit of quality, that split second, can win or lose your game of football.
Lewis-Skelly his valuation is 40 million. I heard rumors about 50 million pounds.
Yeah,
and even then, I think even that's a stretch. I think Arsenal will try to up the price as much as possible. We are a rival, but we know they need money for the Vinny Jr. deal or other deals. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I just wanna bring the conversation further by mentioning this. I don't know if you guys caught this, but Kolo Muani to Juventus. He's not a Man United player. Has formalized his move to Juventus on a 5-year contract, expecting official confirmation this afternoon. 50 million euro package. Looks like a regular transfer, but it affects us because we saw the last show we did. We talked about Joshua Zirkzee being linked to Juventus. So I think that ship has sailed now. So my question to you guys, do you think Zirkzee is here to stay, or are we able to sell him in this window?
He's a tricky one, and he polarizes opinion. Does Zirkzee, to be honest. I'd probably keep him, to be honest, for the season. I'd have no issues keeping him. He'll be a bit part player.
But where does he play? That's the problem for me.
He's better as
a striker. He's not a striker. He's not a number 9.
He's better as an 8. That's his best position. Will be an 8. Floating between the edge of our box and the edge of the opposition box. He would be an 8 all day long. He's very talented on the ball. His skill set levels are way, way, way above most of our current squad. But he's 10 years too late as a player. He would have been much better 10 years ago in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Than he is today. He is a fantastic footballer. And I think he will add a little bit, perhaps like Mason Mount, a bench to what we didn't have last season. We'll have this season. We'll have a full-blown, proper bench to bring on, and change game, potentially. And we need this. Squad building is about keeping, talented footballers around you. And, within 20 minutes, it only needs a minute to change a game of football.
Yeah.
You can win or lose a game in a minute. Zirkzee could give the ball away and we lose the game, or he could do a bit of magic and we win the game. It's a risk you take. Football's all about taking risks. So I don't think he moves on. He probably stays with us. Similar to Rashford, I think he probably stays with us.
That's another one. Yeah,
and he's one of those. But Rashford's going to get you 8 to 12 goals this season or next season if he starts. So or he stays. But people won't want him to stay.
Stu, do you care to make a bet?
Well, he's got to stay first, so we can bet on.
Okay.
First, yeah. If he stays, I'll bet you. No problem.
Because you saw what Carrick did yesterday. You saw our new pressing structure, and the pressing structure, I'm not too impressed. The 4-2-4, I think it leaves gaps on the side behind the wingers. We are easily played through unless we are extremely mobile and aggressive. But what I have to say is our counter press. Wow, what I saw yesterday. Our counter press is, because now I'm talking, it's 2 different things I'm talking about. The structural press, the 4-2-4, I'm not impressed. But what do we do when we high up the pitch and we lose the ball? We swarm and we win the ball. And our counter press is extremely good at the moment. It has nothing to do with structure. It's about it's about an instruction what to do when you lose the ball. So again, I think our players looked incredibly well organized yesterday when we lost the ball. So,
yes,
and then bring Rashford into this, the laziest guy on the planet when it comes to defensive work. And he can't press. He runs directly at the player. He doesn't know how to angle his run. He doesn't know anything when it comes to this. He hasn't evolved this game. He plays like a 17-year-old when it comes to this part of the game. So for me, I can't see him doing much in this team.
He pressed really well because Hansi Flick won't accept anything less. When he was at Barcelona, he pressed very, very well, counter and.
So you think he has evolved this game?
Yeah, only a little bit. But I think to be fair, the type of manager Hansi Flick is, and he's a no-nonsense gaffer, and he won't compromise on it. I'm not saying Rashford will come in and be this game-changing player, but I think he comes in and he runs in for 20 minutes, and I think you'll get the best 20 minutes that we would need, and they're probably scoring probably 1 in 4 by doing that.
Okay. So okay.
He could be problematic for us, if he starts moaning or whinging or anything of that nature. He could be problematic, but I think he's grown up a lot since he was last at us. Don't forget he was at Villa as well for a while, and he performed pretty well at Villa.
On Emery, and he demands his players
he did really perform for Barcelona. 14 goals and 11 assists. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Cass. I'll send you the link. Check your WhatsApp.
It's not bad at all, really. Not bad at all.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm just sending the link to Cass. I'm seeing room for one more. Yeah. But for me, I don't have high expectations when it comes to Rashford. I think I don't think he fits into this structure. I don't think he fits into Carrick's team. I pray that we offload him as soon as possible because he's not the right profile. And talking about the 4-2-4, imagine the weakness if we go into a 4-man press, exposing both our sides, the half spaces on both the left and right-hand side. And we have Rashford on the left. If I was the opposition manager, I would say, okay, you play out from the back. They will come with a 4-man press. But we go to our right, go to Man United's left-hand side because they have a weak-ass guy who doesn't track back and doesn't do his job. So that will be our opening. And we will bypass 4 Man United players with one line-breaking pass. And we can go at them.
I mean, it could happen.
But that's just how I see it.
The flip side is it might not. He might surprise us. I don't know. The trouble with Rashford is he's got to decide what he wants. He either wants to play football or he doesn't. And if you stay at Manchester United, then you've got to play this new system. It really is as simple as that. I listened to his interview a couple of days ago, and he was quite ominous and critical about the way United have been set up for the last few years. And what he didn't like about the club in the last few years, about the way that they'd forgotten about everything that the club stood for. And that's why he wanted out. And look, everybody can speak, everybody can listen, and you make of it what you will, whether or not we like him or not. But I think ultimately, when it comes to any player that's going to play in this new system, right, then it has to work, and he's got to buy into it. Because if you don't buy into it, there's no point benching somebody on 340 grand a week. I've said before. If he starts,
but that's the financial part of the case. But for me, it's. I think we need to start backing Carrick. We can't give him the players he don't need. You saw last season, as soon as Dorgu was injured, you saw the first 2 games against Manchester City and Arsenal. We were a different unit, and as soon as Dorgu was injured, we played without the left-hand side for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, we did. But I'm not saying he might bring Rashford on the right. He might put him through the middle. You might see him as a second central striker. I don't think he will, but he might. He's not going to displace Cunha, though. That's for sure. We know that. And I don't think he's going to displace Mbeumo or Ahmad. And he's not going to displace Dorgu. So you might see him as that second striker, that second 9. He might play him as a 10. Within that area.
I would rather play him as the false 9 or whatever you want to call it.
If he plays for the middle, then it might negate the issues that we may or may not have. I mean, I didn't like the flat four press, by the way, yesterday at all. It didn't inspire me with any confidence. But I think the game might change this season. I think playing out from the back might slowly but surely start to eradicate, because it doesn't really get you anywhere. Ultimately, you've still got to go from one side of the pitch to the other. Whether you go 20 yards or 2 yards, you've still got to make it to the opposition goal. So I think you might see teams mix that part of the game up. It's never really inspired me at all. I hate the playing out from the back nonsense. I'd rather go midway. I really would. I'd rather go midway. I'd rather loop a little ball into the middle third of our pitch and then hit the space from there. That's what yeah.
Well, but modern football is has evolved, as you said, and Damien comes in and say, as a neutral, I'll keep Rashford. A lot of opinions when it comes to Rashford. Johnny Kermode says worth nothing. Rashford did win the league with Barca last year. That could be significant, as that is his first one. So as long as he accepts the role where he will be competing with Cunha, it could work. So I think people are a little bit on the fence when it comes to Rashford. Some want him, someone don't. Cass is in the building. Big up, Cass. Let's bring him in.
Hey, what's going on? I've had a malfunction.
Oh,
all right.
Other than my hair getting long now, looking like Jarvis nearly. The football today.
Yeah.
Knocked out my tooth.
Elbow.
Nah, the football. Someone smacked it in my mouth.
Jesus.
Really?
Yeah. So
how's the choppers? They're still.
It's fine. It's just a little bit, but I have to get it fixed. Obviously, now I have to go get an actual veneer.
Yep.
Yeah. Because you know what it is? I was born with 2 missing adult teeth, and the one it smacked was the one that I got a veneer on. My 2 canines. So it's like, well, you smacked that out now. So cheers for that one. I'm gonna have to go pay another like £400 for it. So yeah, costly, just like Lewis Hall.
Yeah. You look all right for it, dude.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? You know what? It doesn't look too bad on camera. It's just that now when I talk, I have to move my tongue on. I know it sounds weird, on the other side of my mouth, so I don't sound like I got a lisp.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm used to having, it's obviously everyone, this is very off topic, but I'm very used to having an eating on that side of the mouth, and where you have your tongue naturally is on that side of the mouth for me, not this side. So it's weird. Yeah, it's very weird. No, I never go to Turkey for anything. I do everything in the UK.
Yes.
You got how much is the dentist for an hour at the dentist in the UK?
Just depends what you need.
Yeah.
So just a regular checkup in Norway, that's about £100.
Oh, no. In England, I do private. I don't go to NHS and the funded stuff. Basically, I don't do public funded stuff because it's germs for me, and it's horrible expertise. More time, you'd be lucky to find someone that's good that cares. So I'll go private. But yeah, for me, you go get your checkup. It's about 50 quid or something, or maybe a little bit more. And then if they do something extra, they'll charge. But for me, I've got healthy gums, healthy teeth, anyways, and stuff. So I don't need all that rubbish. And then veneer. It depends what you do. It's about £300-400, just depending. Yeah. But my dentist likes me. I think she might fancy me actually. So I might get a discount. I mean, that's serious. I think she does.
Nice. I lost most of mine cast through chemo. Back in the 90s, fella. So my gums are shot. The chemo killed all my gums. Just destroyed them. Yeah. Absolutely destroyed them. So.
You know what? I was sort of listening to you lot talk about the press. I liked it. I think we're you know what it was? I think the press is to actually bait a trap more than actual press. And what I mean by that is because At first, we sat in a mid block, which is like, why? And me and Jarvis and the rest of them in the groups like, why are you not getting up high with the rest of them? But the issue is, like, I don't know if you've watched the game back, because I have. I have a couple of times. I was impressed with it. Weirdly enough, we left the two central midfielders a little bit more open before we put them in a trap to press onto them. Because if you noticed, at first, in the first 12 minutes, 15 minutes, what annoyed me was that the fullbacks weren't aggressive enough on the players, right? So we'd press up 4-2-4, their wingers will come back and we wouldn't follow them. But afterwards we did, maybe because they're quite passive. Luke Shaw's Luke Shaw. He got done one time when we did try to do the press, and that's because he wasn't fully focused for me, and neither was Aiden Heaven. But with Yoro, it took a little while to say, if Ahmad's gone, you've got to go too, right? And then it's like, well, then they can't use the fullbacks anymore. So they're going to have to either go long or try to plump it into the central midfield. If you saw in after the first 12 minutes, 13 minutes, something along them lines, you would notice André Santos or Mount would initiate one of them, would get nice high up into them and would win the ball back again. Did anyone notice that? So I think it was more of a bait rather than an aggressive press, which I don't think you favor anyways, Jarvis. You'd rather just get high and up and wide and aggressive naturally, right? But I think long term that could hurt us, just because of when it gets to Feb, March, April, naturally most teams start getting quite gassed out. That's why Pep Guardiola's teams have survived for so long, is because when they've got all the ball, which we did, it knackered them out. You just need the quality to come on the pitch to punish. Which was, what was it called? The 5-second rule. And I think we applied that yesterday, with the 5-second rule. Even when they had the ball and got some possession, we started to do what we did against Rosenborg in the second half, especially with the youngsters, weirdly enough. We started shifting a bunch of players to the left or a bunch of players to the right. Meaning we swarmed them. And unless you're an absolute brilliant player like Luka Modric or Kevin De Bruyne or somebody of that ilk, no one's ever doing that switch. They done that switch one time and Euro won the ball. That was it. Bearing in mind, they tried to do it twice. I think one of them landed just because of, I think we miscontrolled it. But that switch was never on, because naturally, unless you're Trent Alexander-Arnold or someone that's got a good range, it's never happening. So maybe someone like Chelsea could benefit from when we press like that. That's just what I gathered anyways. Just because of that switch, we would swarm them, would move. It's basics.
But Cass, did you see that the press was different from the first half to the second half? Because our two number 9, so our 9 and 10, was a little bit higher than the wingers in the second half. We were like this, but in the first half, it was like this. In the press, it felt like it. I haven't seen the game a second time, but it's just my
I'm just going to say it nice and early. Jack Fletcher. That's. I don't even need to say more than that. Everything changed when Ahmad came off the pitch. Jack Fletcher. I know this sounds awful because he's young, but I don't see the talent. I really don't. His brother's much better than him. I don't think any club's going to come in for Jack Fletcher either. I'd be very, very surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into the under 18s, maybe under 21s, because he's physically a little bit more better. Yes, cool. He got up the pitch and won the ball back pressing. But I think any winger, like an Ahmad or even an Mbumo, would have won that ball back as well. Not every youngster we have are talented. He is not of that ilk of talent for me. I don't know what he's good at. I'll be real. He's not strong. He's not fast. He's not actually mentally quite quick when he receives the ball. When he did get the ball, even after time went on, after he's had a few touches, wasn't really there. And what I'm going to say is, look at the difference when Jim Thwaites came on. I think he gave away the ball when he tackled it into the own area of fair play, whatever. That's his first game, first minutes in a Man United shirt, first team. After that, it was like chalk and cheese watching him. It was like a metronome. It was like, wow, look at some of these passes he's picking up. Look at the one that was on the volley. It was just a lot easier. I suppose you could argue a lot of the Atletico Madrid youngsters came on. But again, for me, there's the big difference in talent. Again, even JJ Gabriel, he's 15 years of age. He made 2 direct runs. I think one got stuck under his feet and then another one limited to a blocked shot. That's the difference in winger, even though he was getting used more as a up front with Zirkzee and stuff like that. But he was being direct off the right. That's talent. That's confidence. I don't look at Jack Fletcher thinking he's going to be something spectacular. I think if we could cash in now, get him a loan, maybe I would be. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Honestly, I would. But that's what I reckon was very, very different. Anyways, Shay Lacy looks like he can listen to instruction. Very much so. He's brilliant. Actually, no, I'm going to go one step. He's unreal. Loved him.
Yeah, just to say, I'm very reluctant at criticizing these 18, 19 years olds. I know, I'm an old guy. They are kids, and maybe it just comes down to confidence, and he needs just a little bit more time to get used to the tempo of the game. So, but what we've seen so far, yeah, I agree with you. He's not at the highest level, but he might come good. I don't know. What's your takes, Stu, on the Fletcher twin?
I was struggling with that one, really, to be honest, because I didn't watch him closely or that closely in terms of what he did with the ball, where he moves. Did he look at space? Did he understand space? Did he stand when he needed to stand? Did he run when he needed to run? So I didn't look at him that closely, really. I was more interested in what our senior players could offer in different, and in a different environment, in what they were good in possession, what they were bad at in terms of their off-field, out the ball possession. Could they move it quickly? Were they holding it? Were they running into space? What were they doing with it? So it's more interesting in them. I saw the Gabriel cameo, and I saw Shay Lacy as well. Shay Lacy's playing with a bit of confidence, for sure. And I think he needs a good 6 months in and around the first team, coming on 20 minutes here, to gain that exposure. And I think the problem with Jack Fletcher or Tyler Fletcher, they're not going to get that exposure by coming on for 20, 25 minutes a lot. So they're going to end up playing under 23s. They end up going to play probably early rounds Carabao Cup, depending on who we've got, and maybe early rounds FA Cup, depending on what we've got. And maybe if we qualify quite quickly in the Champions League knockout phase, the remaining games are in the Champions League. So there were certain elements I absolutely loved yesterday, and that was our control. And our control of the game was better. And that's where I agree with Cass. After 20 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that, we gained a lot more control of the game. And I thought we started to play an expansive-ish game, but with a greater balance that we've seen for the last 4 years. Our balance was great. In terms of pressing, you know me, I prefer a zonal press anyway. I don't like running around like a headless chicken and watching players go from left to right.
10 hog football.
Yeah, I
hate that as well. If you're going to get aggressive, be aggressive, please. I don't like the Areola. I was watching Liverpool just now. They're 2-0 up, to be fair. Their press ain't great right now. It's very zonal, you can tell. And that's going to take a long time for players to get used to it. But their transitional aggressiveness in their zones is frightening.
Yeah,
it is frightening. They are they are battering a team that relies heavily on athleticism more than probably ability alone. So it's just, I don't like the zonal stuff. It screams trouble.
See, for me, the zonal stuff, and I've always played zonal area. I won't always rush to a player. I like a player to come to me, and then I'll calculate the best move to tackle. And we're not bad at that. I think Santos offers a little bit of that, and Bueno offers a little bit of that. Cunha offers more of a sharper press. Sesko offers more of a zonal side. We've got a mixture in our team of pressing. So control of the game is absolutely paramount for me. I think it's the first time for a long, long time I've seen us actually control a game of football the way that we want it to pan out, the pace that we want to play at, and the direction we want to play at. So I enjoyed the game, actually. I really did enjoy it. It was a really good game of football. And I think we've come a long way under what Carrick wants to do. But of course, all this counts for nothing if we don't deliver on August the 22nd. You know, that's where we must be,
Stu, that was such a great PR answer.
yeah, no.
I really wanted something on Jack Fletcher, and obviously you gave the take of the whole, it was, you know what, it was you could say William Shakespeare wrote that himself, and you just delivered that. I still want to know what Jack Fletcher's good at. Like, this is, again, I know you don't want to be overly critical. All right, cool. Jack Fletcher's a decent ball carrier, and he has some good physical attributes, right? So, but this is Manchester United. When I remember having a conversation on this channel saying youngsters, they had to have something special if you wanted to get into a team. And that was from Stu, right?
Yeah.
So we can go over many, many players. This is giving off, who is that winger that Ten Hag, like, that people were confused about? Played on the right, I think. Anyone remember? Winger. It wasn't exactly great. I think he might have been left-footed.
What year?
Who?
What year are we talking about?
There was a youngster Ten Hag liked off the wing. Forson.
Yeah.
Very mediocre. And it's, I think as a fact, like, we're not being mean, for me. But we are Manchester United, no matter how it is. I just, shall I say, believe if you're not showing much now at the ages of 18, then I don't think we're going to find something or be waiting for something to 21, because we always complain that we don't get rid of these players quick enough. That's what I mean. You look at points. There's a group of players that are very talented, but you can't hog all of them, unfortunately. Anyways, for me, I don't think he's going to be in the squad next week anyways. Tielemans and the rest of them coming back. I just feel it's taken up a space. You know, I didn't. Someone mentioned we had 4 left-footers on the front 4 in the first.
We did.
That was
bizarre.
That's bizarre. Yeah. And also, I'm gonna say, Dorgu was extremely frustrating. And I don't know. He's going to be utility next year, I think. As much as possible, if there's a balance to me. Let me explain just a touch without boring people. Right.
Okay.
What I really liked yesterday, and I think Jarvis, you liked it because we were talking about it, is the pocket. Even in Mbumo got into the pockets. It wasn't amazing, but it was his off the ball runs where it's like, you can cause something. You probably should have done more. Right. Mason Mount, André Santos popping into the pockets. And if it wasn't Mason Mount, he was receiving it. Shay Lacy receiving it. Ahmad as well. It was nice intricates of play. Even Yoro got involved, which is an experiment I'm still liking. I still think if you take out those 2 fullbacks and put in more aggressive fullbacks like Delo, even though I'm not his greatest fan, but I can appreciate what he gives to the side. And let's just say Lewis Hall. I think you got an even better press and even better team. Whenever it became into those spaces, Dorgu struggled heavily. And I don't, again, you can have one-off game, but Dorgu's naturally quite clunky. He needs space to run into. And when he did have space to run into, he was useful until it came to the part of decision-making. He should have smacked that ball into Mbumo first time twice. And I've seen that last season as well. And he's young to develop. There's a utility player in there, but there's not. That's not a winger. That's not a winger. Because hear me out as well again.
Okay.
If you're putting Cunha up front, for instance, or whoever you may do, even if you wanted Mbumo, if you've got Ahmad and Dorgu on both sides, that doesn't scream that's going to get me top 5. Like, if there is a game, we need 3 points to get into the top 6, or we need 3 points to run away from 6th place. If you come down to the bare bones of those two, and Ahmad has his qualities, of course, but Dorgu's not a finisher, and Mbumo can be quite frustrating. So when you've got a technical less front line, even if you put the likes of maybe Sesko in there, it's a very different looking front 3. Right? Because Dorgu now has to cross the ball into the box more time, and Ahmad has to get a little bit closer to Sesko, and it kind of changes our game. For me, if I'm just going off of evidence from before, it's not screaming, you're going to get me my 3 points today. The Dorgu experiment, I kind of need it to end just for my own sanity. But I'm not saying that I'm against him, because he's done some good things for us. But that's a left back, man. That is someone, if you want to overlap, there was times yesterday where Shaw, sorry if I'm boring people, Shaw decided to overlap and get into the box. After about 35 minutes, he stopped. He just stopped completely. Shaw stayed back. He was maybe knackered. But both times he got into the box, found himself in a free zone to shoot. Dorgu is good at shooting. I'll give him that. I reckon he scores 1 out of them 2 shots from what Shaw had. And that was just from having the extra body in the box. Yeah. And I would like to see Amas come on way earlier for me, just for me. So I think Dorgu's, the winger experiment needs to finish. And you said something about Rashford. I'm going to be honest again. I think you might hit a nail on the head, Jar. I can't see him doing the left wing stuff. I think if you're going to put him anywhere, you've got to put him in that Mbumo position. Yeah. Because it's not like it's less running, but I don't know if it's I think there's less focus to be in that. Like you can get away with not running as much up front compared to on the wing.
You basically just screening in the 9 role. And he can do that. Yeah, he can do the screen, get the play on the sides. Yeah.
I always found with Rashford, even when he was young, the less responsibility you gave him, the better the Rashford you got. Simple Rashford is scary Rashford. Rashford, where you need him to do A, B, C, D is like, I don't know, it's like putting a pound in a wishing bowl and hoping that comes true.
Quick question from Mick Cast. Do you see Lacy will be a regular this season?
I hope so. I hope so. Regular, I think for someone his age, I think giving him at least 15 games all round would be good for his development. Like cup games you can start, but I think league, you need to come off the bench. We can't expect too much too soon, otherwise you kill them.
But just to clarify, not as a right winger, but as a 10.
I think the fact that we saw him in a 10, I think getting involved with the play as well. I think we found there. I don't know. Actually, you know what? Next game will scream a lot for me. Because he can change, innit? We can change with Ahmad and
you can't put him as a 10, not in the Premier League. You'll get eaten up. You'll get eaten alive.
Really?
I don't know. Did you not remember that Aston Villa one when he decided to play in the pocket in the 10 and he scored?
No, I don't. But Virgil van Dijk's going to go like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, too, the thing is, Lacy is not quick. His legs is not bursting, like super pacey. But he's super quick in his head and with the ball. And I think he could play as a 10 in the Premier League.
If Lacy goes back to goal at me, I'm dropping him right.
Yeah, but what I saw yesterday, so I saw him with the back against the goal, taking that one touch, when he went to the byline and had that cross to Mbumo. That's fantastic. He scouts, he knows where the opposition is. That one touch gives him like 5-10 yards of space.
Yeah, but my point being, he can do that on the left wing. He comes inside, he's coming into my territory. And you're in my jungle there. And that's it.
You're not playing Van Dijk every week.
No, I know, but you're playing Ruben Diaz. You're playing Anderson at Fulham. You're playing, maybe not Lacroix. Maybe.
But you know what he's quite good at, though, Stu? I think, anyways, is if you can drag out a centre back out of their position because you're thinking he's that nippy player, that if you look at all our players where they run into in that space, it could be something. But I hear what you mean. It could be maybe a little bit too much, but I suppose we're gonna have to wait and see.
You are, but I mean that's the beauty of football, isn't it? That is what he wants. But if he's coming into my, I like a big striker. You know this, Jarvis. I like to fight and win a big strike. I love it. I love that element of it. If a smaller one comes into me, you've got to dominate him. As a centre half, you have to dominate him. If you're coming into my area, I've got to dominate you. And I'm going to make you think. You can look behind you, but I'll be fucking there, mate. I'm going to make you think. By the time the ball comes into you, I'm looking for a bobble. Because
what he did to Koke, Jimenez, and also Hewlett. Yeah, and these are proper primed players that are quite tough as well, and even been around the game. Lacy done all 3 of them, not at one go, but he had them skating. And you know what I think Carrick might want from that part is the final ball a little bit better. And that they can play. Bruno likes to play. Bruno's got a final ball. Lacy can play. Lacy's got a final ball. Cunha can play. Cunha doesn't have a final ball, whether you like it or not. He's the one that you want onto the final ball. That's why I think he likes him on the left, if not sometimes up front to run in behind, because Cunha is dangerous on counter attacks. If you've got him on the final ball, that's well, who else are you going to ask for? Is it Rashford? Is it Mbeumo? I don't know. I just don't know if Cunha's going to find it as much as maybe one of those. Yet to be seen, maybe. I don't know. Am I good in my analysis or?
No, I was impressed with Lacy. Let me get this straight. I was impressed with him. I think he's got a good centre of gravity. He's got a good touch, and he's got good skill. And I think he's got good awareness around it. But you've got to be careful with that. Everybody's been raving about JJ Gabriel. You've got to be careful what you do with him. You have to be careful with Jimmy Thwaites. By the way, I agree with Thwaites. I thought Thwaites' cameo was fucking superb. Really, really, you can learn. If I was Thwaites, seriously, I'd be shadowing Tielemans as much as I could.
Just clear it a little bit better next time too, though. Your first time clearance, properly clear it, please.
But I'd be looking at Tielemans. I'll be looking at what he does, how he conducts himself, because if you could learn, keep that skill and grow and watch a player like Tielemans, absolutely brilliant. And I think this is the biggest problem we've got with youngsters coming through. We haven't had those real role models of absolute quality. I was listening to Patrice Evra the other day and he made a great point, although I think he's listened to our show, because a few weeks ago, Jarvis said you'll never see a player like Ronaldinho anymore. And it's exactly what Evra was saying. You won't see a Ronaldinho type player anymore because of the way that Guardiola's tried to come in and reinvent football. And so when you look at the likes of Thwaites, when you look at the likes of Amas as well, by the way, I think he's had a good season. I'll credit where credit's due. And Lacy, we can't be over-reliant on these kids. We got to bring them in. We had no choice in 94, 95, did we? Or 92, sorry, with the class of 92. We had no choice. We've got a choice now, and we need to be better with our choices. And when we drop them onto the pitch and when we take them out, that's what I want to see do. But look, I'm an old school footballer, you know it. I'm old school. So I would relish Shay Lacy coming into my area. I would relish that. But I would equally relish, that big lump to lap coming into my area as well, because you want to test yourselves against shorter players and larger players. You want to test yourself constantly. And I do agree with you, Cass. Shay Lacy will test the opposition. 100%. I agree with you on that.
You know what? We got a really good second team. Eventually, I think we're going to have a really good second string team that will knock on for places as well. I was discussing it to someone. I don't know who. I'm always having random talks. But imagine we have a Carabao Cup. Let's just say, for instance, we get a central midfielder. We think he's going to be the starting one, whoever it may be. Even though Santos is really giving me confidence to say, I don't even if that person comes in, I don't know if he's got that starting place yet. And let's just say it's Lewis Hall for now. If you actually deep what we might have a second string team, could be Luke Shaw, Lissandro Martinez, as much as I dislike him, Lenny Yoro, Mazraoui. All of a sudden you're thinking, interesting, right? It's technically secure, it's defensively secure, and it can pass. Then you look at the middle of the field, let's just say Santos for now, Mason Mount, if not even Mason Mount, you're thinking, well, forget Mason Mount, he's probably going to get injured anyways. You've got Kobe or Tielemans that are definitely fighting for that spot, or Santos or that said player who it might be. In the 10, you're thinking, I've got Shay Lacy though. So I've got very good technical ballers in the middle of that field, no matter what. They're technically very gifted. And off the left or up front, or let alone on the right, just take your pick. You could have Mbeumo, there's still Rashford's. Sesko, if he doesn't get the nod as much as the next person. If not, it could be swapped around where you think, okay, well, Dorgu's still available, could play on the left if you need him to, where you can play Mbeumo on the right, and you got somebody else up front. It could be Rashford. You don't know, but that's not considering what that could be, considering what we were just at, and that doesn't even include any other youngsters yet that might make a stamp to be in the first team, that might get some minutes. So I just look at things like that, and I'm just thinking, well, that's quite promising. And you don't expect to change a full 11 over all the time, but it's screaming, can we go further in the cups?
We've got a proper bench at last.
Potentially, yeah.
Proper squad, which is what we needed for, Jesus, years. See you later, Bilal. Take care, mate. Absolutely years.
Yeah, but for me right now, I feel our squad is getting better, but we still lack a left-sided fullback. I think Amos did well when he came on, especially when we talk about his positioning. Yeah, he did what I want him to do: cut inside and leave space for the winger to operate. Try to isolate 2 against 1 and create overload in the central areas. I showed you the Hakimi thing when we talked about PSG, and you also saw Lenny Euro do the same thing. He cutting inside. You saw Shay, Lacy dragging on to the right hand side, and I think that there is a pattern that we are. I'm starting to recognize the pattern now with the fullbacks, but we don't see the overlapping fullback as a lot of people wants to see. But I don't think Carrick is going that way. Either way, so that's just how I see it. I just want to bring up this and talk a little bit about the press, because I know Cass, you mentioned it, but I just want to talk about and show you my concerns when it comes to the press play, because as you see here, we are basically going with a flat 4 high press play when they play out from the back. So that's the structure. So let's say the goalkeeper plays to one side. Usually what you see is one of the number 9s or 10s cutting off the passing lane. So we're forcing them to play on one side. So we are using the byline as an extra defender, and we try to squeeze them. This is what we see. This is the regular thing that every team is doing, but not this Man United team. It's almost like Cass said. It's almost like we're baiting them to play into these zones behind our wingers. And what I saw yesterday a couple of times, I'm not a big fan, but I can see why we are trying this. Let's say we play out, we come with a little bit of press. They play out to number 3, we move, play back, and then into the pocket for the number 11. And then we have to rely on the fullbacks to be super aggressive. And then we have the recovery press, and we win the ball high up again. So I think this is the plan. It's as far as I see it. We are trying to force them to play into these pockets and rely on extremely high recovery press. I don't know, guys. Do you agree, or am I on to something or not?
I think that's what he's trying to do, but I don't necessarily agree with Carrick's theory on that one anyway, because I would never use Yoro, I'd never use Shaw as an aggressive press. And the reason I wouldn't do that is because if you win the ball right by 11,
or if they read it right, we saw Mason Mount doing it a couple of times, and even Santos.
You've not dragged them out, so they're still in quite a good positional play defensively. So you're still going to have the same 4 across the back. You're still going to have the coverage of the 2 midfielders. So you almost need them to approach you a little bit more. And once you approach you, let them get up the pitch just a little bit so that they come out, and that creates a space in behind. So when you are pressing deep, all you're doing is like 2 slices of bread and some fillings. When you're pressing, all you're doing is squeezing the filling together, but you're not making any space. So you actually need, one of the biggest myths in the low block is, and PSG are very good at it, and it's very subtle on how they do it. When PSG are going forward, backwards and forwards, side by side in a low block, they will intentionally give the ball away, slightly retreat, and that allows the...
That's exactly what we do.
Well, I hope we do. But allow them to come out a little bit to create the space that we need. And that's why, as a fullback, I'm not aggressively pressing there. I'm going to sit off 3 or 4 yards, allow him to come to me, and then I'm going to hit him, because you're going to drag people out 5 yards. And those 5 yards in football sometimes is all that you need. So I don't like that squeeze press much at all. I don't like the sandwich.
No, okay.
I like this. There's a fullback that doesn't. Well, Yoro doesn't play fullback naturally, and Shaw is passive by nature.
But it's very good when it comes to pressing and winning the ball. And I think
who's this?
Lenny Yoro. I think he's really good.
But when he got confident, after about 12 minutes. I'm so keen that I'm putting 12 minutes on this. I could be off a little part, but afterwards he kept winning the ball back, and we won the second ball, and it was just happening over and over and over. And I think if you get someone a little bit like Delo's, a little bit more agile, and is very, very good at pressing, I must say, doesn't get spun too often. Even Mazraoui, you could put either one of your favorites. And I think when you do change over Shaw, I think that becomes more complete and you're more focused, because all of a sudden when we did do it, like I can't remember them having a shot on goal, let alone. I think if I'm correct, whoever, I can't remember who does the biased commentators on MUTV, I'm pretty sure they had less than 10 touches in our final third.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they worked their way into our area alone after about 10 minutes, I think, because they had to eventually go long and long. The one I would find was the number 10. It was up to Santos and Mount to be clever in who they jumped towards over. I think we left that part in the middle. 6 and 8 is where I think we left that, if I'm correct. If you don't mind putting like Dorgo number 2 and then Boomo number 4, Lacy on number 10.
So this is the lineup we saw yesterday. I think Castillo is the guy who played as number 10 for.
Number 10. He got absolutely eaten up by Santos. Eaten up was different. I don't know how Ortiz got a 7 point. I don't even know how any of these got any 7s. This is ridiculous.
He scored a goal, so that's why. Yeah.
That's for any of them. Like Lenormand was awful. Hanko gave away the ball. I don't know how many times. Gary was decent. I'll give him that. If he was to go back onto the tactical switch, I was just going to say there was that that gap. Where is it?
Yeah.
So if you used to move our front four onto their front four, back four, sorry.
Oh yeah, our back four.
No, their back, our front four to their back four. Like, we was really tight on them, right? If you put you could put them as close as you want, if you wish. And that happened when the goalkeeper, because he wanted to play from the back, that meant the wingers had to come deep. Naturally, they have to come deep, right? So number 11 and number 7 had to go further down and a lot more wide as well. Because if they tried to find themselves, that's where number 6
just loft the pass,
basically. And then we'd get Shaw and Euro, which they did after a while to get very tight on them, meaning they have to play through the middle, either on number 6, number 8, and hope for the best that number 10 could do something. And that's where I think we created the gap, because when they receive the ball, they're not on the half turn. They're typically back to goal, and then they'll go into number 7 and try work a triangle. But it would eventually end up with Heaven or Maguire cleaning up and getting the ball back and recycling it again. So I find it was a lot of it was relying on Santos or Mount to be brilliant in them positions of knowing whom to press at what point. Because when one press would stagger it, that means you don't go up together. If number 6 is going to get it, Santos would jump up, which he got the ball back a few times. And as soon as he got the ball, Mount knew, because he knows where the number 8 is going to go, because he has to change his direction of movement, we'd then go on top of him, forcing it back to the goalkeeper, meaning they have to go long. We win it up again.
Makes sense.
If we had maybe a better team in there that with better players, I do wonder if there is a natural 10, if he's clever enough to pick up a space where our centre mids can't pick them up. Maybe that might cause us a little bit of trouble. But I think that's what I saw was a trap for the middle. And it was happening over and over and over again.
I agree. And also, just a quick one, Sue, before you go, I just want to say maybe it's not a high press. Maybe it's just a trap. I think
it is a trap. I think it is a trap. I don't think we're naturally trying to be aggressive. I think it's a bait. And who used to do this? De Zirkzee uses bait. That's how he does his press. It looks aggressive, but it isn't.
Yeah.
But it's easy to do when you got a team that are playing out from the back. But you could easily cut through that in 3 balls anyway. And this is what I always amazes me with some proper coaches. Because for me, I'd have pushed the 11, I'd have pushed 7 to the halfway line. So I'd have pushed Euro back, I'd have pushed Evan back, I'd have dropped the 10 in the middle, I'd have whipped the ball out into the 10, hit number 7 on the wing, and I'd have got up the pitch that way. You can get out in 3 passes. It's a piece of cake. But what we're doing, we're allowing teams that for whatever reason they want this play out from the back all the time. So that's when you can do it. But when they mix it up, that's when we have problems. Now, they didn't, to be fair, Cass, you were 100% right. Nobody mixed it up against us. It was great for us. And Santos and Mount were brilliant at closing the space. Sure, and Yoro, you're right about Yoro. Took him probably 15 to 20 minutes of looking around, wondering what to do, getting his positional play right. But once he got there, I thought he had a solid game, nice tackles, gets up the pitch quite nicely. But it is quite strange in football that you can get up the pitch in 3 balls. You really can if you stretch the play.
Well, funny enough, when you said that, did you see our build-up was very different? Instead of doing the box, where you got the 2 central midfielders come deep and the centre-backs go wide, this time it was just Santos. It was like, well, Santos will just split them 2 and you can play out the back that way. We don't even want Mount. Because against Rosenborg, they were very aggressive and making sure off that 4 couldn't get the ball. We was just switching it to fullback / wingers. So that time, he switched it up. Carrick switched it up. We didn't need to. We always had an extra man in that middle, and it ended up being Mount anyways because he would lose his man. Yeah. And if it wasn't him, Lacy would drop deep. And I saw it time and time again. Dorgu and Bumo and Ahmad would just make selfless runs, push him back, and they would think about it. And Bumo was very good at it, and I think he got frustrated a couple times. Right? He would do a switch. He would switch. He would do it like a half turn and then start running behind. Could we have done it? Probably. I think so. But we've done it a couple times to Dorgu, and we found ourselves in. Actually, funny enough, he found himself in goal setting up opportunities that he never capitalized on. I think one was offside as well, so you could say 3. It was every time there was a spare man or 2. It was that was different build up compared to Rosenborg. And Santos, he averaged. Well, no, he made 91 passes.
I don't see his
stats. Oh my god! I put it into our chat, Jarvis. I think about his stats. Statman Dave put out the relevant ones. Obviously, Statman Dave actually puts out the ones that make any player look good. To be fair, even if it's waffle. But I think he not averaged. I'm sure he made like 91 passes, and we were talking about. On this channel yet again, we need a defensive midfielder who can get us more than 50 or 60 passes a game. Hence why we asked for Sander Berg, because he averages how many passes in one game.
We're talking about 81 accurate passes. I don't know how many passes he had in total. So 81%. No, 81 passes he did. So 75 was accurate. So 93%. That's
and a lot of them were forward.
Yeah. So basically, here, let me just try to enhance it a little bit. So
he made 81 passes in 90 touches. So scroll down. Does it say 90 touches?
No. How many touches?
Go down. Go up. A little bit more.
Touches.
90 touches, and he made 81 passes.
Yeah.
So that means every time you got a ball, it was either a first time or a touch and go. Enough said. 48 million bargain. Don't care what anyone tells me.
Yeah. It's a strong stat. That's basically we have our Sanderbergs. Maybe we're not signing Sanderbergs because of this.
No. We need the one that can win every header as well as. Do you know what I mean? We need the Mr. Dictate himself that Santos can learn off of. Imagine having 2 of those in your teams. Just have IQ, run when you need to. Don't mind. And win the headers, because Santos won a couple headers.
He did. Yeah, he's not great in it either.
Brilliant. Really?
I was seeing now Carrick is starting with this project, us getting more controlled, more possession in games because of Santos. Is this what we have been looking for, the hidden gem, the guy who can drop deep and be part of the build-up, being in every build-up, the guy who just touch and go.
Well, look, we've been
because Casemiro was not this guy, and Mainu is neither. He's better facing front.
Yeah, but we've been readable for the last 5 years, haven't we, as a team? You could go into any game and we pretty much know what.
Yeah, just go down the left and attack from there, and you'll be
exactly.
fine.
Yeah,
Down the right, left is shit. Just go down the right this year.
Exactly. We're easy to play against. Everybody knew. So that's why we've always been talking about rotation and being able to mix it up. And Carrick has demonstrated in these 3 games that we can play a variety of different ways. And by the way, we can play 2 different ways in one game, which we've never done before. We really haven't done that. And that's what I'm more excited about to see. Do you think we need more white players in the team? I'm a black man, understanding what happens. Okay.
What's that?
So if you're from the 80s and 90s, then he was talking about a lot of abuse. And back in the 80s and 90s, it was not so much multicultural in terms of first 11s.
Oh, our team could be fully black or fully Asian. I couldn't give a shit. Are you scoring me goals? Or are you winning me a game?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter.
I mean? I couldn't give I couldn't give a toss.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
100%.
That's what he's talking about. Anyway, it wasn't so multicultural back in the 80s.
We got quite a lot. We got quite a lot of white players in our team. When you think about it,
we've got a good balance.
I mean, I can go off all the goalkeepers: Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, Harry Maguire. You got Delict, who's still there. Lissandro Martinez, if you count him as white, I think you can still count him as probably white. If you keep going further forward, you got Benjamin Sesko. You got Shay, Lacy. There's quite a lot of white players. I've just mentioned about 10.
We got loads, yeah.
You got a lot of mixed race. Well, you got mixed race. You got white and you got black. Unless you want to count mixed race as black, which I can understand in social construct. So if you want to do that,
they're all footballers at the end of the day.
Yeah. Trust me. Oh yeah, Liverpool just conceded. By the way, they bottled a 2-0 lead. I'm watching on their app, and yes, I do pay for the Liverpool. I do pay for Liverpool fan TV.
Is it 2-2 or is it 2-1?
Whatever it's called.
I
watched. See, I was on this. So I didn't really want to watch it as much, but I went it back on.
There you go. Calvert Lewin again.
You have a question, Cass.
Go for it.
If you could only have one, who would you prefer? Germany or Manu Kone?
See, Tchouaméni's underrated on the ball. People need to... But in terms of... I think now I see that there's a 6 that sits more time than less. I think Tchouaméni. I'm going to have to be honest. I like... Santos does not move. And there's a security that I like. And he also gets further by using his brain a little bit more. So it's not like he stays there, but he's happy to stay there. Is Kone happy to stay in the 6, even though I think he can do it? After watching this preseason, I think Tchouaméni. I think it's not realistic, but I'm happy to see Tchouaméni do that role because I think it would benefit our fullbacks in future heavily. That's why I look at Sander Berg as someone quite similar. So I think he benefits our fullbacks to get up heavily. He's just a freak of nature. So yeah, I don't mind.
No.
Oh my God, it's 3-2 leads.
Go Leeds. Leeds. I'm looking forward to watching Leeds this season. I think they are building a proper team at the moment. Unfortunately,
it's just worth touching on Patrick's comment. You never lived it. You're absolutely right. We never lived it. I was around in the 70s and the 80s, mate. And I was in my teens in the 80s, and I know exactly what you're talking about. But these are different times now, Patrick. But you are right about what you lived and what you experienced in the 80s was horrible. So, but
I've heard about them. I've heard about those times.
It was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. But welcome to our channel. You're more than welcome. Everybody loves everybody on this channel, my old mate. So please keep coming and enjoy it.
On to another topic. Ben Jacobs came out with this yesterday saying Brentford confirmed the Mali international midfielder Mamadou Sangaré has joined Lens for a club record fee of 45 million euros plus add-ons package, and he has signed a 5+1 contract. So again, this is a player we have been talking about. We have been following Mamadou Sangaré closely since he played at Rapid Vienna in the Austrian league, and he had a brilliant season for RC Lens in the French league. If you go by according to FootMob, he is the highest ranked midfielder in the French league last season. So again, brilliant signing for Brentford. So my question is, what do you guys expect from Mamadou Sangaré going into the next season? And the second question is, do you think now, since they made a club record fee, that the Brentford need money and maybe are on the verge of selling Gabriel, the striker?
I don't think so. I think that's a soft launch for Man United to say, we're looking for a striker, but we're not going to get one. I think that's what that is. They're not selling their top. That nearly got them into Europe. It's impossible they're selling that top striker after selling a Boomer. Not for me. I think they're fine. They finished well within the Premier League as well.
A lot of money.
Yeah, I don't think that's a lot of money for someone like Brentford. That's barely anything. I think it's a record signing because they barely spend on players. But I think you can expect maybe one to go next season, depending. Sangaré, hilarious. People were mentioning to me, so I done my own research. I'm in the place and zone, especially with preseason now. I'm thinking, I don't know if I really want potential for that DM spot. We've got Santos for potential. I don't want another potential. For as good Sangaré is, I have an issue that someone said, "Oh, go get him." Is with I find with his tackling technique. He would get suspended not once, but 3 times in one season. I'm telling you that now. For the way he plays, he's a brilliant player. I think he's someone that you can probably see in the next couple of years. I'm not saying he wouldn't develop under Man United over he gets better, but he would be a liability eventually.
Okay.
He would accumulate so many yellow cards, it would piss us off because his tackling technique needs to improve. So
he has quite quick legs and he reads the game quite well. What you see from France, but yeah, okay, I see what you're saying is a slow league, but yeah,
positioning wise, he needs to learn heavily. Like, I don't mind players that want to. This is my whole thing with Belabor as well. Like, he needs his legs to do a lot of the movement for him because he's out of position, which it's not necessarily wrong because he's a freak of nature. But I think Sangaré is someone similar to that, right? I don't think he'd be the correct one for us, and I can see why we bypassed on him. It could be a mistake, who knows? But he was for his development. I think he'd be better in a club and then come. I think a top club would be a step too high. For me, anyways. I just don't think we need potential on top of potential. I think we need someone who can come in now. 6 is not a joke. People need to understand this ain't one game a week. No pressure Brighton, no pressure Brentford. This is Man United. We're playing against Liverpool. We're going in the Champions League. We have expectations. So unless anyone's got anything for me, I think he's just flavour of the month. And I think he's going to be a sick player as well. Like, as in, really good.
Oh, I think it's a good move for Brentford. Absolutely. Fair play to them. And they'll probably get 80 to 100 million in 3 years' time for him. So, yeah. Good luck to him. I like Brentford. I think he'll develop very, very well under Keith Andrews. I like Keith Andrews, really good man. I think that he'll develop. I think it's a good move for him, actually. I really do.
I can see Keith Andrews now tweaking it and trying to build a team around Sangaré's energy and the midfield with him in it. Yeah,
good catch for Brentford. Fair play to them.
Yeah. I don't know if he was ready or not, but for me, I would love for us to sign him. I think he's ready. Just my personal take. I think coming in second in the French league tells me that he's ready. If he's not ready, why do you think Manu Kone is ready for the Premier League?
Well, yes, good question.
Yeah. That's just how I see it. But on the striker, what's his name? Gabriel, the Brazilian striker.
What about Thiago?
Thiago. Sorry. You think it could be an opening? Brentford needing money right now after a big signing.
Trouble is, he got 22 league goals last year, didn't he, or 20?
Yeah, but knowing Brentford, they probably have someone else lined up and ready to go.
Too much money. You'll get 70 million from him. It's just too much money. Yeah, unfortunately.
Did anyone watch this Thiago in the World Cup?
Oh, he was terrible, wasn't he?
A bit of pressure. And
started
so
with
straight away, he is.
before.
I knew it from the get go. I knew it from early. He is. If we was to ever get him, I'd give up with this club. Honestly, I'd be like, what's the point?
Yeah, it's
No.
it's a tough one, but I agree with people in the chat saying Manakone is older. Okay, but as I said, I see Gregory comes in. If you're talented enough, you're old enough. So,
Oh yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but
For
you know,
me,
Scholes didn't get into the team straight away. None. Like if you want to go back to '92, even if they were talented enough, but they didn't start, they had to wait for their turn. Beckham went out on loan. Like if you want to do that, even if you look at anywhere else, even today's game, there's not many players that you see that they're very talented, but it takes a while. They either got on loan and etc. etc. You know what? In an ideal world, Man United would have bought him and then probably loaned him back.
Developed him.
Yeah, and then loan him back or something like that. If we had them sort of resources, that would have been a smart play. But unfortunately, we're too busy paying £108 million back in transfer fees. I don't know why we did it this summer. Not all of it was due. You could have. I think they could have delayed a bit of it just because of because a lot of the money is coming in next year as well. I just don't know why we decided this season would be the best time to do it. No, you could have reserved it, but then we can judge that at the end of the window, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. That's exactly right.
What are we thinking about this Lewis Hall stuff with Andy Mitten? He's using new vocabulary, amenable. Amenable. I've never heard that word in my life. A new buzzword of the journalists.
I think we are waiting for him to force a move. That's we are just putting it out there without saying it.
I think he already is. I think he is. I think
not publicly.
No, I don't think no player wants to do things publicly, and I don't think Newcastle would appreciate it. But I think he could threaten it behind closed doors if he doesn't. The issue is that his dad and the rest of them support Newcastle. So imagine going out with Newcastle and your son is coming out publicly about our club and all that stuff, and it's like, yeah, that ain't gonna be a good look, is it?
No.
I think he is behind closed doors. It's like, you know what my issue is with all of it is you know what, it's Man United, so never say never. There is no way United go to Newcastle knowing that two of their players already gone. One might be going, even though I've got a feeling he might stay, funny enough, for one more season. Even if it's the case, you don't go over there thinking, yeah, we can play 50 million, 55 million. I think that's feasible. That's a good fee for a fullback, even though you lost 3 of your star players. And there's again, I just don't see that. I think that's ridiculous. You're wasting time if they're going to ask for 65. I'm going to say 70 million pounds. I want to stretch it and say 75 million pounds. I really do. Why would you go and waste your time? Is it for PR or what? So yet again, we tried. I just don't want that part. You only go to Newcastle for Lewis Hall knowing that because he wants Man United, cool, it's easier. Wages is on something stupid. You pay the money up for what they ask, and you know that you're going to pay the money because that's a 10-year investment, not a 5-year investment. 10. So I'm kind of in that mark, in hope that even if it ends up being 60 plus 10 or 65 plus 10 million in add-ons, go do it. I couldn't care less. I'm seeing Cody Gakpo's going for 72 million pounds potentially. Cody Gakpo.
My biggest problem with Lewis Hall is his chances created. I don't think he gives enough output when it comes to going forward. You know, he had 1 assist or something, 1 goal, 1 assist last season. I don't know his potential. Maybe we are looking at more next season. But again, he had a good season for Newcastle, 1 assist during the whole season. And I don't want that. I want a fullback who actually can come in and make a mark, you know, produce some numbers.
That's Eddie Howe's fault though. Because how many times, like in your mind, how many times did you see Lewis Hall even do an overlap? He's too busy wanting them next to Tonali.
He didn't.
We don't want them next to Santos or Tielemans. Get up the pitch. Get in the box. Because when he did drive into the box against us, and stuff like that. He's like, oh, this guy's he's a menace, and he can carry the ball without losing it. I think it's the way
on the ball. Yeah,
I think it's the way he's being used. That's where I was 4-2. Love that.
Okay.
Sorry, it's just Liverpool.
But aren't we just taking a big risk? Let's say we pay north of 65 millions. It's a lot of money. Will be a world record for a fullback, and 1 assist again. It does make sense for me.
We've done it once 12 years ago. Luke Shaw, he was world record for fullback 30 million.
Yeah.
12 years later, that's 65 million. I think just go do it. Otherwise, we're just going to be in a zone of getting players that you might bring up that has potential, Jarvis, from Belgium or the Austrian league. That's going to cost go get the play. I think Lewis Hall, out of all the fullbacks, transform us instantly. It's like having Mazraoui that can attack. You've got that in the left back. He can actually go down the line and produce crosses. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. Lewis Hall, when we beat Chelsea, hit the crosses he was putting into Kai Havertz and João Felix was unreal. And I'm confused why Eddie Howe didn't want him going up the pitch. He'd rather Trippier, sorry. So I don't know. I don't care if it's steep. Pay the money. It's a 10-year investment.
Yeah. Question from Ramos. You can tackle it, Stu.
Well, look, we spoke about it earlier. We looked at what Isak did in Newcastle, dragged it out till the very, very last day. And it's been a disaster, his move to Liverpool from Newcastle. We know the type of player that Isak was, and he was absolutely brilliant. All of us would have taken him at Man United, no problem. If you get the same thing with Lewis Hall, he drags it out until the 1st of September. We don't see him in a United shirt till mid-October because he won't be playing, he won't be training, there'll be no matches. He'll be completely useless to us until mid-October. So do we want to pay 70 million for a player that we can't use to mid-October? Okay, he's what we need. There's no 2 ways about it. But 70 million kills your budget potentially for the third midfielder, potentially, or a backup striker, potentially. So it's probably going to be midfielder or striker or left back and striker. It's probably going to be that. However, Lewis Hall as a player, yes, I think we'd all agree, we'd all take him. But I think Newcastle will push this and push this and push it, and United don't have to keep pulling. And even if he turns around and says, I want to do it, it's up to Newcastle to sign the paperwork, to sign that deal. And everybody knew what Isak wanted. Everybody knew he'd end up at Liverpool. We all knew it. And Newcastle knew it, Liverpool knew it, but Newcastle made Liverpool wait. And it's been an absolute disaster, that deal. So if we're going to do it, and they say to us, you want 80 million, you've got to go and put the money on the table and get in that. You can't dick about because we're not going to see him. We're just not going to see him because the new manager will take him out of the equation. He'll just take him out of the equation completely. So,
yeah, and we all know Newcastle is so hard to deal with when they come. I think they have a thorn in our side after the Ashworth deal and the gardening leave and all of this. I don't think they want to do any deals with Man United. They see us as a rival.
I'm going to explain this. See, I was reading the article from the Athletic earlier, and it was a very good insight. So, what's her name? Stavely Stanley. I don't know what her name is. They've left, so that part of their ownership is gone.
Yeah, she's gone. Yeah.
So very different. Eddie Howe, that whole thing was the agent as well, and he was a lot of the noise that was blocking a lot of these players for moves. Gone now. So you've eliminated all his backrooms, every bit of risk. It's kind of like a fresh slate. Now with Saudi, starting from last summer, they stopped pumping money into Newcastle. This is all from the Athletic article, and I knew this way before as well, but I didn't know to this extreme because I already knew through someone who works with like Live Golf and that they pulled the plug on Live Golf. They pulled the plug with LIV Live anyways. They are stopping pumping money into projects, and now, it was either change the project or sell Newcastle. That's what I do know,
Okay.
right? And now, all of a sudden, look at their So if you go look at the amount of transfers and the amount they spend, you've already seen the figures. People are like, no, surely not. That can't be true. It's true, right? They're down to their bare bones in cash now because they're not making profits and they don't want to pump money into the club. They've already pumped about 400 million into the club, and that's all gone to waste, right? They thought they could do the Man City or something like that. It didn't work. They thought they could be a European giant by 2030. It's 2026, right? That's not the case anymore. They even stated in an Athletic article that they have changed their strategy. Now, if you go fast forward 1 year later, Eddie Howe's gone because there was conflict between Eddie Howe and the players that they were selling. They need to make profits. And the only way to make money now is by going down the Brighton route, going down the Brentford route, the Moneyball effect. Look at the players they've just bought in. Look at the goalkeepers they just bought in. Look at Traore they just bought in. Look at their ages. Before Traore, Bamba, look at their ages. Before, they wouldn't, bar Lewis Hall and Livramento, they didn't look at players like of that age. They were going to get Dan Burns, Murphys, Tonali's. They're of good ages, right? Bruno Gomes. All of a sudden, look at the new players they're all getting. They're all kind of basically under the 21. So, and they're relatively cheap. So that's the change of strategy. So now, at this point, I don't think a deal like Andy Mitten's kind of alluded to as small as he wants to, saying that now Eddie Howe's gone, they shared the same agent. It should be relatively easier to deal with, which kind of tells me Mitten isn't telling everything yet because he's been commanded not to yet. That's just my observation. So new model might mean Newcastle could be a Brighton. They could be a super good team still. Fans will love it, even if they sometimes finish 6th. They have adjusted their model. Sometimes they might finish 8th, but they will always make a profit because there will always be a player that a club will want to buy.
Yeah.
That's quite evident. And I think this is why Lewis Hall's actually going to go in the end, even after them. I think they don't want players that don't want to be there no more. It's a complete reset.
I don't know if you know this, Cass, but I'm just asking, why do the Newcastle owners pull out from the Newcastle project?
So Saudi's whole situation was, how can we get more tourists to Saudi? How can we get more known? Let's make Saudi's name great. Pump money into boxing, pump money into football. They tried it. Pump money into sports. That's the easiest way to get people together.
Sports washing, to say it like that. Sports washing.
If you want to do that, that was their whole idea. They tried it with Live Golf. They done quite well for a small time, and it was too much money before you see any sort of return or any actually sort of audience. I don't think they care about returns. I think they care about the name, the brand, the audience. Didn't bring an audience. If you look at PIF over in Saudi, last couple seasons, they're not spending crazy money no more. Especially with the 4 clubs, the main 4 clubs. Anyone noticed? Well, no one really, have they? It's just offers for certain players if they're deemable that they're going to do well and bring a crowd. If you can't bring a crowd, I wouldn't say Saudi League's bringing crowds in. I don't think. Stopped it. Boxing. Has no one seen about the boxing? They're pulling the plug on the boxing. It's literally now just a Turko El Sheikh, whatever his name is. A respect to him. It's pretty much his own doing now. And he's buying Derby County or investing into it because he's got nothing else.
That's the guy who leaked that the club was for sale or something, that the Saudis were going in again. He had the tweet, like something. It's just him, but that's him alone, not Saudi anymore. He's not acting on behalf of Saudi. So that's done. And now they obviously, I think I just mentioned the golf. And they come out even today, they're pulling the plug on Newcastle. Not essentially pulling the plug, but they've got something just there. It's just something there now. You're not going to attract a crowd to come to Saudi via Newcastle. You need a big club. You need a huge club if you want to do something like that. And they pumped enough money. So I think they finished. They're just pulling the plug. It's done.
Basically, they're not trying to be as ambitious as what Newcastle fans thought they were going to become, because it's been 4 years, 4 years, and it's not amounted to anything. You're struggling against clubs like Brentford and Bournemouth and these lot. It's not working. Project pulled. It's done. Change the way to do things, because you can't get away with it in football no more.
No. Different times. Oh, well, thank you for the explanations. I weren't 100% sure why they were pulling the plug, but yeah, it makes sense what you're saying. And the problem with the oil money at Newcastle versus the oil money at City is that City didn't give a damn about FFP rules and broke all of them, while Newcastle hasn't learned how to do that. So yeah, that's one way of putting it.
There's a big difference at all, friend. And that is the Saudi deal for Newcastle was funded by the PIF, which is their public investment fund. And what they're doing, as Cass said, they've dropped everything from a commercial side, and they're going back to buying proper stocks. So everything, so they couldn't break FFP because it's a publicly holded fund, whereas good old Sheikh, whatever his name is, at
Mansour,
Mansour, it is personal wealth. So it's not a public fund. So they couldn't break laws. You can't do it anyway because you're investing through, and you've got investment rules and regulations you got to follow. But it's a shame what's happened to Newcastle.
No, it's not.
I don't. Well, it is for me because
why? I love this explanation, Stu. Go on.
Because when you're up there, and I know a lot of people from the northeast, football's their passion. That's what it is.
That's great.
What they live for. They love football, and that's all they've got. You know, Newcastle and Sunderland are one of the very few teams in the UK that don't have direct rivals within a city. You know, all right, Sunderland, Newcastle.
No, there's a couple others. They're just lowered down the league.
Yeah, they're lowered down the league, but mainly the big ones are like that. And so it's kind of all it is really is passion. And you know, you, me, or Cass, we could play number 9, number 2, number 3, score a winning goal in the cup final. You'd be etched in history there. And because they've not had a huge amount of success, it's so for me. I'd love to have.
Do you know why I can't get behind it though? You know why I can't get behind it?
I can see why people don't.
I have nothing wrong against Geordies. Actually, nothing. I think they're sick. They're serious. But when it comes to the footballing side of things, they try to create a rivalry with us. We've got an Alan Shearer song, which I love dearly. Yeah, they've tried over the years. Obviously, rest in peace, Kevin Keegan and that kind. And they've tried to force these force it recently because they got too big for their boots, right? Yeah. This is what they deserve. I think you got too big for your boots. You got arrogant. It's like someone winning the lottery and not knowing what to do with the money, and they're broke within a year. So that's exactly how it comes across to me. I think I'll probably do videos on them and the rest of it, but they should just be thankful that they're going to have a stable club from now on. There's no way they're going down. They're going to get to and the rest of it. And you know, this is what they get for wanting Eddie Howe to stay on for so long as well, because they ain't got a clue or how to deal with big boys club standards, whether they like it or not. Whether they can't even cuss Tottenham. Look at the manager they've just brought in. They've essentially got. I think he's a good manager, but he's from one of the PIF owned clubs. He is a puppet. He will say, "Yes, sir. Please, sir. How much more do you want?" That's the whole point. Anytime you get a transfer, you're not going to argue. Eddie Howe had arguments clearly with the likes of whatever their board is.
He resigned. He resigned 2 weeks ago.
Falling out with about 3 different director of footballs as well. He was pretty much the kingpin. They needed to get rid. Now they got their puppet. So, and I think they'll do well. It'll be interesting to see the football. Just sell me Lewis Hall now because he doesn't want to be there, and we'll call it quits.
Yeah.
We
will try to get Strasbourg Steve-O on tomorrow night. He said yes, so hopefully he will come on and talk the Newcastle point of view in the latest events when it comes to Newcastle. That will be an interesting debate. We are 2 hours 8 minutes into the show, so I think it's time to wrap it up. It's been a great show, Sunday night show, but we will be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. UK time, as usual, with Jarvis's Corner. Mark will be on. Strasbourg Steve, maybe Cass will jump on if he has the time. I don't know who else will be around, so that will be interesting. So any final words before we wrap it up?
Not really. Thanks all for watching. We've had quite some new people in the chat today, which is good. So thanks for all watching, subscribing, get those likes up. Can you retweet the show and get this out to as many people as you can? we would.
Yes, guys, and yeah, smash like, subscribe if this is the first time on the Tactical Devils. Go subscribe to Never Foul and Cass Central if you haven't. There you can see Cass every day doing his shows, and on Tactical Devils you will find Jarvis and Stu. So, guys, see you tomorrow night, and have a good one. Good night, and bye bye.